Hey, it's the Grumpy Meeple, and I am back again with some more unboxing of Zombicide 2nd Edition. So, just want to do a quick unboxing of the core box here. And just for some context, there's a lot of unboxings going up on this channel right now because I'm getting a lot of this stuff in. I don't imagine that this would be the kind of standard content that I'd be putting out, because while I back quite a bit on Kickstarter, I don't actually buy a lot of games, retail games anymore, because the kind of stuff that I want is usually on Kickstarter, and it's usually this giant, kind of miniature space stuff. So, Zombicide 2nd Edition, let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. I'm a little verbose. Maybe I go on a little bit too much. Here's this useless flyer. Throw that to the side. We've got the rule book. So you saw my gameplay video, so I've already played it. I already know the rules, basically. The rule book is pretty good. This also has the missions in it. So and it comes with 25 missions built in. I've only messed around with one of the kind of basic missions because I'm really enjoying the campaign aspect of Washington, D.C., and so that's where I'm kind of focusing my attention right now. And then when I'm done with that, I'll probably circle back and see of that system what can be pulled out and kind of use to modify the standard mission set. The all-out dice is an obvious thing that you could just kind of plug and play into the core game. But the rulebook's really nice, and it's got this nice... I noticed this when I borrowed it from my friend. It's bound very nicely. It's got like a thick kind of edge there. And then you've got kind of your big box. And you've got your tiles and your tokens and such. So let's just dig right into the big boy. Let's just get at it. Okay. So, right off the bat, you've got your 2nd edition character cards. There are 12 cards in here. Some features that I like about these cards as compared to previous iterations. I like the way that it's laid out in general. I think it's a good layout. I really like the fact that they decided to start printing survivor skill information on the card itself. It helps a lot with having to kind of go back and forth between the rule book and look stuff up, if your guy has shove and you're trying to remember exactly how it works. So that was a great idea. You've got your player dashboards. These are great. They're super durable. The sliders work pretty well. You got to break them in a little bit, but once you get it going, they're good. You track your skills, your unlocked kind of leveled up skills, your health on this side, and kind of your spares go up there. And it's got a little backpack room for items that are not in your hands. Not too much to say there. It's pretty much, on par with previous Zombicides, which means that they're quite nice. And they're the kind of thing that you wish you had with other games, Got a big old block of cards here. Let's bust that open. So you've got your police car and pimpmobile information, and then you've got your equipment deck, pimp weapon deck, starter gear deck, and your spawn deck. So and then there's one more deck, which is new, which is the Abomination deck. So this game actually comes with, the core box comes with 4 different abominations with special abilities. This is one of the best changes that they made to this edition of the game. And I didn't even realize it when I was when I was looking at the Kickstarter that there were 4 different A-bombs in this set. Because just right off the bat, even if you just have the core set, you have a lot of variability here. So you've got the Obama Cop, where he gets to go. He goes first in the targeting priority order, so he's tanking for even the fatties who would usually kind of be on the same level with him, and you could decide who to kill. He's always going to take those shots. You've got a Bomb of Wild, which he soaks up Molotov cocktails, and so they only affect him. So this means you could throw a Molotov cocktail into your space and with him in it and kill him, but not yourself. But it also means if you throw a Molotov cocktail at 50 zombies and in a Bomb of Wild, you're only killing the Bomb of Wild. Then you've got the Abomination. Survivors cannot perform combat actions in his zone. And you've got a standard Patient Zero Abomination. Really cool that they put 4 kind of different A-bombs in the core set. Really happy about that. Because it just really diversifies that kind of core gameplay. In terms of the spawn cards, one of the rules differences or kind of gameplay differences that you're going to see is more zombies on each card in general. This one is spawning 10, 8, 6, or 4. Because you're going to be spawning less, but spawning more zombies. It's one of the changes in the kind of rule set for this version of the game. And I actually really like it because it's much less finicky. You're not constantly, going through that deck and spawning. You've got new types of cards here called Walker Rushes. And what this is it's a spawn card where they just immediately activate. So this doesn't activate all of your walkers, just the ones that just spawned. So adding a lot of unpredictability. And you've got the same thing for fatties. I don't know if the runners have one. They may have thought that was just too dangerous. Yeah, I don't see runner rushes. But you do have extra activation cards as well. 1 extra activation. And some of these rules about how this stuff worked in previous versions of Zombicide were a little more finicky, and here it's just a little more kind of streamlined. It's just you get extra activations. Your zombies get extra activations if you run out of zombies and you need to place them, or if you pull that card, basically. Then in terms of the weapons and items in the core set here, it's all just kind of the iconography has changed and everything, and it's all new items and whatnot, I think. But, it's the same kind of classic Zombicide play, right? You've got your range, the number of dice, the roll you need to make to hit, and the damage that it does. You've got noise, whether or not it generates noise. Here's an example of something that does not. And then another change is you have items that can open doors. And when they can, they just have this symbol on it, and it tells you whether or not it makes noise. And you don't roll for the doors anymore. You just, if you have a chainsaw, you can cut down a door, basically. I like that change, too. Again, it's like I think it made more sense thematically in Black Plague, where, the door might be this big, old oak thing that you would have to kind of hack your way through. But in a city like this, you're talking about these kind of crappy little, wooden doors, and you've got a freaking chainsaw, or an axe that's specifically designed for breaking down doors. So I think it makes sense. You've got your pegs, and you've got your hard plastic snap-on bases for your heroes. You get your basic dice. Not really going to get too deep into all that. It's all the same stuff you've seen a million times. What I am going to get into is the miniatures, though, because they are pretty damn good. Let me think about what the best way of doing this is, actually. I think I might try to... I don't want to keep you guys on, like, all day. So I think I might try just doing kind of a quick glance at everybody. It seems to be focusing fine. So you can see he's got some writing on his shirt, basically says human on it, I think. So these survivor minis are really cool. And then you've got the children. as well. Very cool. Then you go straight into the big boys, the A-bombs. There's your first one. You've got, I'm not sure if that's the Abomination or what, I forget. I think that's the, I don't think that's the Abomination. I think that's the Abomination. But you can see, look at the detail on his shirt. It says, "Please help." He's wearing like these signs that he's probably taken from dudes he's murdered. And then there's Patient Zero. He's got, you know, an IV bag hanging off of him, basically. So really cool miniatures in this set. No surprise there. Simon usually is pretty consistent with their miniatures. Here you've got the runners. Note that they are in this dark gray plastic to help you identify them easier. You get 4 different sculpts of the runners. And that dark gray plastic, so that, you know, if you're anything like me, whenever you play Black Plague, you're constantly like, I don't know, is that a runner or a walker? It's kind of hard to tell. Some of my precious fatties are trying to escape their bins, guys. This cannot be. Okay. All right, let me just pick this whole thing up. And then we get into the fatties. So the fatties are interesting because they're considerably fatter than they have been in previous versions of the game, which I really like. Like, these are really some chubby checkers. It's great. And then you get 8 walker sculpts, basically. So starting kind of over here, you get kind of your standard. You got a fireman, incredible. You got whatever that guy is supposed to be. Got kind of shifty, lanky ghoul. You got crazed housewife zombie, I believe. I'm not sure what's going on there. Female zombie. This guy, again, has a sign on him that has words on it that you can actually write onto, which is very, very cool. You've got this guy who's got, he's got like a rebar stuck through his back, which is cool. Let's see that. And then you've got pigtails here. So, no complaints about the component quality in this set, basically across the board. The miniatures are great. The cardstock is your standard kind of Simon quality cardstock. It's good enough. And then everything else is pretty standard as well. And so here we have our tiles. And they've made some changes to the tiles. All of them, I think, are to the better, for the betterment of the game. So the first thing is they print the doors directly on the tiles now. This cuts down on setup because you don't place a door token when you're setting up. You place it when you're open it. So you're doing some setup during gameplay, basically. They printed the objective tokens and the pimp weapon tokens on the things at all, or the things as well, the tiles as well. This is great because it means that once you set it up, you just grab those tokens and just boop, 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 boop. You're not looking at the book to set them up. You almost, like, basically all you need out of the book is the numeric value and the facing. And then you can set up the rest of this without even using the rulebook, which, you know, it wasn't like nightmarish in previous versions of Zombicide, but it was more involved than that. This is, you know, kind of your standard Simon quality cardboard. All this stuff will, for whatever reason, I don't know, I don't live in a humid climate, but I live in a very dry climate, but these will warp. And so what I do is I throw like 3 or 4 just basic silica gel packets in with my tiles, and that'll combat that warpage. And then you've got just 2 sheets of tokens. This is another thing I love about this. And one of them is the cards, which are huge. There is hardly any cardboard in this game, like any tokens in this game. It's just your noise tokens, crates and pimp weapons, spawn zones, and doors, and then a few incidental things. I really like this. It's really feels streamlined and easy to get to the table and easy to clean up. Doesn't actually even, I was talking to somebody in the comments on another video about my organization system where I use Stanley organizers, and I even have Zombicide Invader sitting right here, so I'll just pull it out and show you. This is not a great example because I never even actually played this game, and it's not optimized. There's still like spaces that are wide open and stuff. But even just for Invader, like I ended up doing this. I put all the things, and this is just so I can hand this to somebody and they're ready to go. And then Invader has a few more decks, I think. It has these kind of larger pieces. I have the 3D doors for it. And I have it all in this one kind of organizer. And just a few more tokens than, although even Invader actually wasn't that bad. For some reason, I have a memory of Black Plague being way worse. But I don't even know that that's necessary for 2nd edition. And another thing that I really love is the expansions, at least the Washington ZEC expansion, it doesn't come with any additional tokens. So it's not weighing your gameplay down. It's adding gameplay, but it's not weighing it down organizationally or kind of, materially. So that's a quick unboxing of Zombicide 2nd edition. I'll probably do a separate review video because I have a lot of thoughts about this. I touched on some of them here and in my gameplay, so I'll probably just kind of bring all that together and summarize it. But I really like it. I think it's a great step forward, and it's nice to actually care about the kind of modern version, because I came on to Zombicide and after Black Plague had already run on Kickstarter, so I wasn't very interested in the modern version. It didn't have the dashboards, it didn't have all the wacky A-bombs, it didn't have the necromancers, which in hindsight, I love that this doesn't have necromancers. They're very finicky and kind of a pain in the ass to deal with in the game, I find. And so it's great to be able to come back to kind of the originator and to really enjoy it. And there is a ton of content, even just in this one box. The next unboxing I do will be for the reboot box, and there's a ton more content in that. And we'll get into that at a later date. All right, that's all for now. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you later.